Mad Life had already ulted, so I blamed them. Mad Life was perfect. CJ Antis versus IM came number 2.
No.
The look on Monty's face tells me that he may disagree with me at this point. We'll see what they ban out this time. I mean, I don't really think you need to worry about Lilac too much. He was kind of a non-factor on that Rek'Sai last game. There's a Vayne ban against Roar.
Yeah, that has really been a priority pick for them so far, and it's something that Roar has done, you know, decently on, and now that they don't have to ban the Callista, that they are on the blue side, or the Ryze, it does free them up to do something. Perhaps they'll still ban the Evelynn this game, but other than that, they won't have those same level of obligations. Now, where do you go if you're IM right here? Because you didn't want them to have the Annie, the Rumble, or the Nautilus last time. Shy, very dangerous on many of those champions, and actually CJ just going to ban the Rumble out themselves. And
Okay. Well, they could be gearing up for an Alistar first pick.
yeah, they probably will just go for an Alistar or a Gragas first pick. CJ with that same priority that many teams have these days.
So I wonder if they would go for a Gragas first pick, they would have to ban out either Sivir or Alistar for the last ban, wouldn't they? Because you wouldn't want to give Sivir Alistar over.
I think they're just going to ban out Evelynn or Gragas here, depending on what they feel they want IM to have. I think you could just ban out the Gragas, and then if they ban out the Alistar, then you have some more options, such as first picking Sivir.
Yeah, I like that. Makes sense. We'll see what CJ's last ban is going to be. Couple seconds to decide, and it will be Rumble. Or no, not Rumble. That's Rek'Sai. Started with an R. Rek'Sai. Okay, so taking away the jungle that Lilac played.
Right.
So I wonder if we will see that Gragas first pick then if it's not banned here.
So if you're IM, you probably should leave up both Gragas and Alistar and get one of them, because if they're going to ban Rek'Sai last, they're almost certainly going to first pick Gragas, because they're trying to see what else Lilac can play here and how deep his champion pool goes. He wasn't that effective on the Rek'Sai last game, but he could be made even less effective if this Gragas isn't banned. It's going to be a Bard ban, so that is probably just going to be a Gragas pickup first right here. Otherwise, that Rek'Sai doesn't make a lot of sense as a ban.
Yep, there it is. CJ may be kind of trying to get IM to start thinking that Coco's going to play Jace this game as well, too. We'll see. What did you think of Shy's Shen last game?
I thought it was okay, but not really anything to write home about, as it were. I think it worked fine. I like Shen as a champion just because he has those 2 teleports instead of just the 1, so it gives him that much more time to be a threat on the map. But again, I just don't think that composition was very good with Shen, because it was mostly just a lot of reactive Shen ultimates as opposed to Shen really being in a position to get taunts. We didn't also see Shy doing any kind of crazy taunt flashes or anything like that to hit multiple people that you could do as Shen. So I don't know. He looked a bit rusty, but it was an okay performance, but I just think he could have done a lot better with a different composition.
All right, so Alistar Sivir picked up by IM after the first pick Gragas from CJ. Pretty expected. And you know CJ knew this was coming. So they have a plan. They have a plan to deal with this.
I like what IM did, though. They didn't ban the Alistar. As soon as they saw the Rek'Sai, they should have known just to ban something else. So they banned the Bard instead, hoping that perhaps Ignar can have a better laning phase without that Bard on the board. Even though, of course, Mad Life can play lots of other things. Nautilus, Thresh, Annie, champions, 2 of which were banned, Annie and Nautilus, in the last game. So he does actually have a lot more freedom, even with that Bard banned.
So many people hovering over the Vel'Koz lately. It's like Vel'Koz is the new talent. There's some sort of running joke going on.
Yeah, I mean, Vel'Koz is just so terrible.
Sadly. Yeah, I think Azir would be a solid pick as well, too. And with the Corki, they could be going for some poke.
I like the Corki pickup here. You've got the Azir still. You have plenty of poke damage and zone control with this composition so far. And you've got plenty of disengage, too, to deal with the Sivir and the Alistar. I mean, the On the Hunt doesn't help you so much if you're contending with terrain like Emperor's Divide.
Yeah. Will we see Frozen pick up this Echo? And it could go to jungle, could go to top as well, too. Although, with that pick, I would imagine it will be top. Who knows? Maybe Lilac is some sort of like jungle echo god, and we had no idea.
Just given my observations of Lilac's mechanics throughout his career, I would not necessarily tap him to be that jungle echo player.
I'd be a bit surprised. I'd be a little bit shocked myself.
But meanwhile, remember Apple likes to play champions like Vladimir in the top lane, and this screams out to me Apple as just as a champion player combination much more than Lilac.
Oh yeah, I agree completely. So Rengar probably not going to get picked up. We'll see what CJ decides to go with. They need that bot lane, or they need rather their support and their top laner theoretically.
Shy playing Riven would be a big surprise. I think he's just going to go back to that Shen again, honestly, and play with Annie, something that may have a bit more engage potential. They're still lacking somebody who actually goes into the enemy team, though, for Shen to ride into battle on.
And what about a Mundo, too, in this pick against the double AP?
I would just be a little bit worried about Mundo's laning phase because they haven't seen anything. Well, I don't know how the Mundo Echo matchup goes. I imagine that doesn't go too well for Mundo.
Well, he certainly is going to get poked out quite a bit. Looks like it will be Shy Annie, though. Or Shen Annie, rather. Shy Shen. Shen Shy. And the final pick for LZIM. And you'd have to imagine it's going to be a jungler here. Or maybe it is that Jungle Echo. Oh, boy.
There's no doubt Jungle Echo is good. That's not the question. It is a good jungle pickup. It's just, can Lilac do enough with it to justify the selection? Instead of Apple, a player who you know can do quite well on that. And not to mention that Apple did actually struggle in lane against the Shen last time, especially with that. I think if he switches to Ignite, it may be a different story because a lot of it was that he was just behind in terms of his build because he had to get the Skirmisher Saber and then he was getting out-traded by Shen. If he goes Ignite this game, it could be a different time.
Yeah. I just don't know about this Jungle Echo. It looks like that's what it's going to be. They're going to let it lock in, yeah. All right. Well, Lilac mechanically hasn't been able to quite keep up with, most champions. And so will he be able to make a difference on a fairly mechanically intense champion like Echo?
I'm very skeptical, but I do like the fact that Apple has switched over to this Ignite. So he's going to try this matchup again, except this time he's going to have a little bit more early power so he doesn't get constantly harassed down by Shy Shen like he did in the last game, building that Trinity Force a little bit faster, getting some more early offensive items, and then having the kill pressure as well with that Ignite on a champion like Shen that doesn't have the highest amount of mobility. Interesting selection, and this will probably be a pretty different laning phase. So Lilac will be the one playing the Echo in the jungle.
Yeah, now we saw Shy get to lane a little bit late. Without that level 2 last game, I feel like you can't risk it this time around with the Ignite on the other side. What do you think?
Yeah, that level 2 quickly, it might be an issue because Apple did have that faster level 2 while Shy kind of took half experience but didn't actually commit to being into the lane. It might be an issue. We'll see how it goes for him if Apple has a different plan now that he knows that Shen isn't going to be taking a camp at level 1.
Oh, we'll have to see what happens. I am trying to tie things up, but CJ looking very strong in game number 1. A strong composition to try to do the same thing with. In game number 2, Mad Life has been deadly on that Annie. Second MVP incoming? Maybe. We'll have to find out, guys. Game number 2 is starting right now. And welcome to Summoner's Rift. Incredible Miracle taking on CJ Entis. And CJ, they really do need a 2-0 here. You know, it's been a slump. They've lost their last 3 matches. Looked a little bit better in their last one, but still.
I would say they looked substantially better against Najin. I mean, the loss to Jin Air was just, that was very surprising to see them play so poorly. All the way from draft through the gameplay itself. So they're going to get seen here heading into the Tri-Brush. That means some counter warding early from LZ Incredible Miracle.
Now we saw CJ steal blue buff last game. Now do you think they're going to try something similar with red perhaps?
I mean, they could. They had that ward in between the tier 1 and 2. Looks like they're going to go for that same warding pattern again.
Yeah, maybe just, do you think this would mean a lane swap too?
I mean, it didn't mean a lane swap last time. So they were just happy to see if IM started on the opposite side of the jungle, and they knew that there was nobody in there, it was a very safe buff to take. And it looks like that's going to be the same style of play that we see this time around again. Of course, we do see Shy now wrapping all the way back around. And now, IM's going to know that this is going down. They have eyes on Gromp/blue buff and on the Krug entrance as well. So they should have a good idea that this is going to be happening. And so the question is, are they going to respond? This would be a good adaptation for them just to go straight to enemy red buff this game and try and take that away. Meanwhile, Shy just going to walk over to lane after helping a little bit with Ambition's leash. They're going to see that no one is actually en route to the top lane. So what does Echo do now, though?
Goes back, I guess. I wonder, too. I don't know enough about Jungle Echo just yet to know, how well he's able to burn through those early camps. He got a lot of help this time, but okay, canceling that recall. Huh.
He didn't cancel the recall. That was Hecarim's
Oh, you're
recall.
right. Hecarim was just standing on him.
Yeah, they were on top of each other. So
I was going to be surprised. I'm like, you really don't need to do that yet, man.
He is going to try a level 2 gank, however.
Well, Coco's pretty far up in lane here. He might be able to grab a summoner. We'll see. Lilac comes in, flashes, gets a slow with the Q, but Coco just walks away. Ambition turning things around a little bit. Whoa, taking a lot of damage though from Frozen. Coco dealing a decent amount himself as well, though. And so, flash used by Coco. So a little bit of a win there for IM.
And Apple now trying to get some pressure down. Did shove up that wave early. And remember, he's level 2. He got that faster level 2 and TP'd in. So that's some nice harassment. That's a very good response to that early buff. And IM really fighting back and trying to 3-buff in return.
Yeah, looks like they're going to be able to get it as well, too. Shy just sitting up in that top lane farming. Apple level 3, so he's not really going to be down in strength really at all, it seems like, to Shy. And Shen.
This is just such a clever response by Incredible Miracle to what they saw last game. Because what happened was the buffs went down early because CJ had that cute little warding pattern that gave them information. But instead of just going and trying to take the enemy buff, IM decides to level 2 gank the mid lane to put some pressure on. And they also used that edge that they had due to the faster kind of level 2 and the item grab from Hecarim to teleport in and then put the pressure on because he has more AoE early on to push the wave. And then he invaded the jungle just to set Ambition a little bit behind right there. So IM saw what CJ had done last game, and they make a change to play more aggressively and really punish CJ. Not a whole lot, but just a little bit for playing that boldly.
Oh, every little bit counts, and with a team like CJ, you really do need to get all the little edges you can in the early game, because when they start to team fight later on, you want to be ready.
Yeah, you definitely do. Shy having a harder time this go-around now that Apple really does have that kill pressure on him. And Apple's just playing that lane. Look at his positioning, very far forward right now. Front of the creep wave just to zone Shy off and force him to take damage from the rampage if he does walk too close to CS. And it's a problem. Shen farming under the turret, just not the most efficient champion at clearing waves until he gets that Sunfire cape. So this is opening up Apple a lot more time to roam. They're going to focus on Coco this time.
Yeah.
And this is one of the problems with Shen.
Oh boy, here we go. Apple pops that E, trying to get it onto Coco there. Coco drops that Sand Soldier. Looks like he'll be able to get away with the heal, but another summoner burned.
This is really much better play from Apple. Looks like he, and by the way, he switched from Ignite, so he is going for,
Oh yeah, you're right. Wow. Lilac tries to catch Coco. Couldn't quite land the W, though.
So he did switch over to Smite again. Not sure how much I like this. I think maybe he could have done more work with the Ignite in lane.
Yeah, would have certainly had that early pressure, but maybe just saying, I'm going to roam instead. Whoa, action in the bot lane. Mad Life in Space could be in trouble as Lilac is coming in from behind. Roar has the flash, getting low. Space grabs that first blood. And CJ actually turning this one around. Lilac getting very low as well, too, as Shy was able to TP down. Whoa, Space gets knocked up just barely out of turret range there. That was very nearly a kill for Ignar.
Yeah, Space has to use both summoner spells in the end. So both duo lanes just dumping all their summoners in the bottom side. And that would have been a good gank had Shy not been set up for that teleport. Remember, they had TP advantage, so Shy was able to make a play while Apple was not. Apple uses TP very early on in this game. And look at the timing, too. Sure, Shy's TP is down, but guess what? It's right as he hits 6. So now he can match the TP for Apple. Really good timing from CJ Entis.
Uh-oh. Oh, Lilac
He's
getting
got a
low.
shield. It's fine.
Oh, come on. Way to kill the drama.
So coming into that little team fight on the bottom side, it was a great move from CJ, great timing. And because they moved forward, the parallel convergence from Lilac, it didn't do much of anything because they didn't have to retreat. They could just walk forward for the kill.
Works well. And they also managed to do that right before Apple's teleport came back up too. Oh, Coco going in. There's the stun. Can Coco get behind him? Frozen taking a lot of damage. Here comes Apple, though. And they need to back off. Coco, without that flash, not able to do the Flash Emperor's Divide shenanigans that we saw last game.
Still got the cleanse, got the flash out of Frozen. That's another win as we start to scrap.
Oh, Ambition gets knocked up. Apple able to get in there with the Onslaught of Shadows. Mad Life turns around. The W dodge. Lilac comes in, throws that Time Winder. Apple very low. A kill comes in for Mad Life. CJ turning it around. Coco taking some damage from that Chaos Storm, but Frozen just doesn't have a lot of damage in general yet, so CJ just kind of waltzing their way through it.
Shy is just using his 2 teleports absolutely beautifully this game. That's the second kill he's helped to pick up. Didn't get an assist on that one, but even so, just coming in with that Stand United and picking up. Actually, I think he did get an assist on that one, just not on the first one.
Yeah, I believe so.
But his teleport on the first one prevented Space and Mad Life from having to run backwards on the Echo gank. So now there's a very small amount of time. Apple just galloped into that middle lane. He didn't actually use a summoner to get there. So he's got it up. He's got a very small window of just about a couple minutes to do something with this, while Shy has already made 2 plays on the map.
Well, Dragon is still an option for IM if they can maybe find an angle to have Apple teleport down for it. Because it is kind of now or never if they're going to try to take advantage of this teleport edge that they've got.
I mean, Space also is, you know, he's got his rockets already. They're going to be able to poke out the enemy. We're going to grab a blue buff, but this is not a very, obviously, good situation for IM. They're not that far behind yet, but they haven't been able to control the game really in any sense so far.
Yeah, that's been kind of their problem all season long, is they're able to, you know, once in a while make a decent play, but they just don't seem to know how to kind of work the map in their favor.
They really don't know how to close, too.
Yeah.
Even if they do get a lead, they have no idea how to actually finish a game efficiently or what is the priority of objectives that they need to go for. So Apple going to get a deep ward in, just check out the Gromp right there, see if anything's going on. But the time is ticking to when Shy has both of his global abilities back.
Yeah, and CJ probably going to try to go for the Dragon at that point, I would imagine. Meanwhile, Shy able to get a pretty massive CS lead for this point in the game against Apple. Up about 20 already. That's a bit surprising.
Well, I mean, Apple spent a lot of time running around the mid lane right there while Shy was farming in top, and then Shy just TP'd down with his ultimate for the fight. So Apple has been intentionally missing out on CS, trying to make plays elsewhere.
Well, Coco taking out that pink ward from long range. How does the Sand Soldier see Azir command him to poke the thing with the spear from over the wall?
Well, they're connected by that sand.
By a cosmic
sand
binding,
line.
if you will.
It's actually just, the sand line is actually just a string with 2 cups on the end, so he just uses it to talk to him that way.
But they are ancient golden cups.
Are they?
Oh, I'm sure.
Does he really need a fancy golden cup?
Have you seen Azir lately? Of course. Of course. He goes about as fancy as you can get. Look, he's got like, he doesn't have a cape. He just has like 3 kind of like mini thin capes on his arms. Which I guess can describe the idea of wings as well on a bird. But that's not what these are. Azir can't fly.
He looks nothing like a bird.
No, except for his head. That looks a lot like a bird.
And literally everything else about him.
Depends on what emote you do. Shy continuing to farm in this top lane. And a fight in mid. Lilac able to get out of that one. Mad Life flashing though, drops to Tibbers. Lilac in trouble, and there's Space taking him down with the Phosphorus Bomb. Rocket combo. Whoa, Gnar comes in, or Ignar comes into the big pulverize, but only Frozen there to follow up. They've got the Chaos Storm, but again, just not doing a lot of damage. CJ just kind of partying hard in that one. Apple in a little bit of trouble. Shy comes in for the taunt. Ambition trying to follow up here. Roar pops that ult to get away. Where's the stun from Annie? Doesn't really look like it's loaded up just yet. Ambition comes in, doesn't connect with the body slam. They get the slow on Ignar. Oh, Shy going deep for another taunt. Ignar forced to flash. A lot of summoners used on the LZIM side there.
Now, IM actually did prevent CJ from taking a dragon right there through. So throughout all that engage, they didn't lose anybody else. They traded TP for that Shen ultimate, as they did get caught a little bit in the choke there. Oop. Nah, that's not going to work. Yeah, not really the best parallel conversion. So can IM actually come back right now, since everyone on CJ had a recall, and start to take that dragon?
They probably could, but they're not going to.
Well, they're definitely not going to, I guess, as Apple's back in the top side once again. Now remember, CJ has that teleport advantage again now. Having two globals on your top laner is just ridiculously powerful. And we just haven't seen the Shen punish that much this game. I mean, Apple got one roam off early and was able to put some pressure on the blue buff, but that was about it. He hasn't been able to make anything else happen with this Hecarim.
Yeah. I wonder if he had stuck with the Ignite, if he would have been able to pressure hard enough to kind of stay toe-to-toe with Shy.
I just think it's a better idea right now if you're going to be going up against this Shen to try and shut him down early when he doesn't have that wave clear and when he's quite weak.
Yeah, makes sense. Blue buff is back up for IM. We'll see if CJ can find a way to grab that one. IM looks like they really don't want to lose it, though. That dragon is still up, too. Shy and Apple, meanwhile, dueling. The duel of lose a little health, gain a little health.
Wow. Ambition really going for this, actually. Starting to wrap around.
Oh,
there's a lot of people there.
Yeah, that's right. Ambition could just get killed, and he will, yes. Wow, no, flashes away. There he goes. Ignar with the kill there. Shy comes in, taunt onto Ignar. Coke over the wall as well. Space there to add in the damage. Mad Life drops Tibbers. They're only able to get the kill onto Ignar, though. Ambition looks like some miscommunication. He went in way, way early there.
He also just didn't have the Stand United to help him out yet either,
Yeah.
so they're still going to be able to get a dragon out of this. Remember that with Apple in the top side, there's an imbalance in favor of CJ since they traded 1-for-1 in the bottom side of the map, so that's going to be an easy objective, but they may have to trade it for a tower in the end. We'll see how fast Shy can crab walk his way up into the top side.
Looks like he'll be able to save it. It's going to take another wave or two before that turret goes down by itself, and Apple already recalling. So they will keep the turret alive for now.
So, great idea from CJ. Not the best engage right there. Ambition in too early, but because the idea itself was solid enough when they trade 1-for-1. Wow, nice.
Whoa, Space going in onto Roar. This is a 2v1. Shy comes down with the ultimate, though. Ignar could be in a little bit of trouble. It's a lot of damage, but the taunt not ending up working out. I believe that got spell shielded by Roar?
No, got flashed.
Oh, you're
so
right,
what happened was Space valked forward, and then Roar saw that Shen was ulting in, so Roar spell shielded. Space cleared it with a rocket, and then Shy was about to hit the taunt, except Roar flashed. So they did force a flash for that, but there's not really a whole lot to go for here in the bottom side.
Yeah, not bad. Shy down at bottom now. There's no dragon, though. So they could maybe push these mid and bottom lanes after Shy goes back up.
Yeah, and again, the teleports are down now. Apples is nearly back up, so this is all a game about teleport or global cooldowns from the top lane. Everyone just making plays based on those abilities.
Yeah, pretty much. First turret of the game does go to IM, though.
Yeah, and they lost the turret for a flash. So that was definitely not worth it for CJ when the dust settled. They couldn't actually make the play there to get a turret on the bottom side and at least trade that way. And instead, they just kind of give up quite a bit. There's no dragon there. It becomes a lot more high risk to make moves like that, to make decisions like that, because it means that you have to get a kill to get a turret. Otherwise, you know, you could have just chunked somebody out or scared them off with a summoner spell and then forced to fight at the dragon on neutral ground. But instead, you end up in a situation early in the game where Sivir can just very easily stand under the turret and wave clear, not have to worry about much.
So do you think it was a mistake for CJ to give Sivir Alistar over to IM?
No. I mean, I think it's fine. With the first pick that they had of Gragas, they denied what looks like a very comfortable pair of picks rather, with Rek'Sai from Lilac. And now they're just going to push down this mid turret. Everybody just powering through thanks to the Azir there for the rapid-fire siege.
Yeah, so getting 2 turrets very quickly, and that should alleviate all the stress that CJ has at this point. Nice little gold lead for them at about 3K. And Mad Life coming up. Wants to get a bit bloodthirsty, but it looks like LZIM is going to back off appropriately.
Shy just moving forward in that lane, and he's got a CS advantage somehow, in spite of basically teleporting twice as frequently as Apple in this game.
I wonder if they're ever going to do an update on Shen's walk. You think they will? It's very awkward.
We can only hope, though. We can only hope.
Yeah.
Shy heading down to the bottom now, so the fast push is beginning. Tower's been cleared out. They want space in the top side to keep shoving down towers right here. Shen just going to move into the bottom side. And, you know, one of the great things about Shen is you don't have to be so cautious when pushing up into a long lane like we're seeing CJ Entus do, because he does have such an insane ability to turn fights on their head if you get engaged on. So that's an easy turret. And the rest of CJ just continues marching forward.
It's funny how after IM took their first turret, CJ was able to respond so quickly with all 3 outer turrets.
Yeah, this is a very nice siege composition, and the thing is that Shen just keeps on pushing it, putting down that pressure. He's got the Sunfire Cape done finally. He's in a great place to keep passively pushing that wave. He doesn't have to use mana for it like Hecarim does.
Yeah, he can just move from lane to lane. Whoa, Coco might get caught here. No, barely gets out before the stun hits, just pushes back Ignar with that Emperor's Divide.
Such a crazy amount of pressure with the Azir turret down in the mid lane and the Shen split pushing and Space already pushed up as well. It's just so easy for them to use this poke safely to continue to chunk out these turrets. Apple's there, but he just doesn't have a good angle. And Shy just going to catch the wave and tank it right in front of the tower and move it up as fast as possible. Sun turret still alive and still zoning off. Incredible miracle. Now everyone down Apple.
Taunt onto Apple. He's going to need to be careful here. Lilac coming from the side, though. Mad Life drops the Timbers right onto it, though. Here comes Space throwing in the Phosphorus Bomb of the Rockets for a lot more. And they are going to push back IM enough to maybe change over to this Tier 2 in mid and take that down.
Yeah, CJ has just been doing a great job of rotating in between these Tier 2s in the mid game. They've managed to maintain such an amazing amount of pressure based off of the item power spikes that they're in right now. If we look, the Sunfire, the key items to these builds are the Sunfire and the Trinity Force, and they got both of them and are just maximizing the value of that power spike pretty much right now, doing a ton of damage to the towers. Like you said, getting that outer down very quickly, using that power to just keep on pressing forward and getting a lot of damage done to the Tier 2s. Very nice use of those items.
Yeah, you can use this edge too to make sure that you have the edge over the dragon area as well from this point going forward in the game. And it's kind of that slow constricting victory now for CJ that comes along with a lot of these poke-type siege comps.
Yeah, well, and the parallel convergence from Lilac, I mean, we see another one there. He really hasn't been able to hit that stun yet. It's been a pretty not-so-great Echo performance out of the jungle compared to a lot of the ones we've seen. Not in Korea, because all of them have been bad in Korea, because Ketch was the other person who was playing Echo. But other places, some of the jungle Echo performances have been quite a bit better.
It's a lot to manage. I mean, the W is so slow to come down, and then you always have to try to work your positioning in kind of a weird way that your clone is kind of on top of everybody. So it's definitely a challenging champion from like a philosophical standpoint, right? The way you play him is very different. Meanwhile, CJ tries to take this second dragon for them. IM coming in, headbutt pulverized onto Ambition. Sivir activated. Coco pushing people away. Space getting a lot of damage done here. Frozen coming from the side. He drops a Chaos Storm, but Space able to pick up that kill on the Apple, and CJ just taking apart this team fight right now. A couple kills come in for IM, but CJ still able to push them back.
Well, CJ just didn't have great target selection right there, so they ended up with a lot of people at very low health on Incredible Miracle, but not able to actually finish the kills. But they're going to go for the Dragon 3v4.
Oh, it's a little bit risky. Here comes IM again, but with those ults out of the way, they can maybe do it. Lilac trying to get close enough to smite it. He stole the Dragon last game. Shy goes in for the taunt, and that helps CJ secure that Dragon. Frozen very low. Shy able to pick up the kill off of some damage from Space. Looks like he's going to get a double, and now Ignar and Lilac come back in. There's a teleport for Apple, but he has to run immediately. Flashes some CJ. They want another one. Space picks up a kill in the fight. Shy, Coco chasing as well. Shy taunts ahead. Goodbye, Ignar. Wow, another double kill for Space. Or a double kill, I should say. And yep, IM just sticking around a little bit too long there. That was
they
very
could
awkward.
have re-engaged had they waited for Apple right there. He wasn't that long off, but by the time Apple had gotten there, they had already been taking so much damage.
Yeah.
From that 4v3 and from the Corky poke, so they couldn't turn it around. And that's this disjointed nature of Incredible Miracle that we've seen.
That's what makes this team so hard to watch, is because their movements around the map, their decisions during and after fights are always so awkward. You really have to wonder, I mean, what the comms are like in the booth. I mean, we thought maybe Lilac would bring in some shot calling, but it's not looking any different today.
No, it's not. And he's just failing to execute on an individual level also.
Yeah, which we've kind of expected. He hasn't been a strong mechanical player for a long time, but the Echo pick really just making it hard on himself, you know?
To be fair, that last parallel convergence actually did stun somebody in Ambition, and they did set it up a little bit better that time. But even so, I mean, CJ just absolutely powering through right now. Obviously, they came into that fight with a substantial golden item advantage to begin with, but
as usual.
That was some nice play by CJ, not being phased by the 3v4. They're going to give up Baron if they do this.
And it looks like they will. So Baron giving up for a tier 1 in bottom lane.
You can't stack 3 people on the bottom side with a team that's this far ahead. You don't even have teleport on your pony.
Well, Baron's still not dead yet. They zone Lilac out a little bit just to make sure he can't come in and try to steal it. There we go, Emperor's Divide. They're going to push everybody back there. Baron taken by CJ, and they're just going to disengage a bit. Shy, trapped behind the Emperor's Divide, but he's fine.
I guess I don't even know what I am expected right there to happen. When you stack 3 people on the bottom side like that without a teleport, and the enemy team can see that there's this Baron on the top side, and 4 people just collapse on it immediately. They take the objective. They already had the Blade of the Ruined King for the extra damage onto the Baron.
You know, I could see maybe if you take that bottom turret and then you get some nice wards in their bottom jungle, you're able to sort of get a semblance of control around the Dragon Pit and say, all right, we're going to try to maybe take this back, but I don't know, not even doing that. Just ended up not benefiting IM really at all.
No, there's no upside. That level of trade is just unacceptable, really, from Incredible Miracle. You can make that trade, even if you do get control of the pit via vision. It's just incredibly not worth it. So, yikes. Now they have to deal with this Corky, who is already quite strong.
Yeah, it's a pretty fast Blade of the Ruined King, too, for a Corky to get after that initial power spike.
Oh.
Very fast. 5-0-3.
Space is pretty fed.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, usually it's only a couple minutes earlier than now when you see a Corky pick up those Sork shoes, and they've got the power spike from Trinity Force Sork shoes, but Space already with that blade, and yeah, they're gonna pretty much tear through objectives at this point.
It's also just this huge turret lead, right? Because they snowballed so well earlier. It's not even necessarily the kills, but just the number of towers they got with their advantage that is tilting the gold lead in this direction. They're going to keep it up, too. No reason to stop with this Baron buff.
Yep, might as well use every second of it. And it looks like they'll get quite a bit out of that Baron buff.
You know, Shy just
yeah,
go into town.
Yep.
You know, that's another advantage of his passive being up more these days, is he does do more damage to turrets over time. Apple getting slowed down.
Yeah, they might be able to catch him here. Frozen and Roar coming in, though. Ooh, CJ may have overstayed their welcome. Onslaught of Shadows comes in, and Ambition and Shine a little bit of trouble. Oh, Coco comes in with a great ultimate. Lilac from the side, though. They've still got CJ low. It looks like a kill on Coco will be the beginning of this fight there. The inhibitor didn't go down either. So I am able to actually turn this fight around. Oh, nice double kill for Frozen. And so they save their inhibitor. They get a couple kills. CJ, a little bit sloppy there. Shy and Ambition did not need to stick around that far.
No, really what should have happened right there from CJ is they should have just tried to back off. And the rest of CJ should have just tried to take a turret and inhibitor during the meantime. It doesn't really matter if you lose your top laner who's split pushing right there, as long as you take the inhibitor in the end. Instead, you give up a couple of kills by walking all the way across the map while LZIM was already grouped. And now you're going to lose a mid lane turret also. Just not a great closure to this game from CJ.
Yeah, I don't know how seriously CJ's taking this one at this point, but should still try to be a little bit more crisp than this.
Okay, so I mean, it's going to be a nice shop for CJ here as they start to look at their third dragon of the game. Pretty early on into this one, but it has been a very one-sided affair between these two teams tonight.
Oh yeah. Last Whisper picked up by Space now as well, too, in case he wasn't doing enough damage.
I mean, the Trinity Force on Shen is going to be good. He just completed it again, so he's doing the same build that he did last time, going for the Phage, Cowl, and then into the completed Trinity Force. So he has some extra MR there. But, I mean, the lower cooldown's obviously going to be useful on Shen. He's able to spam that Vorpal Blade pretty consistently for the Sheen procs also.
Yeah.
Great duelist.
Oh, here comes Apple teleporting in. Nice headbutt pulverize, and Mad Life Inhibition a little bit of trouble. Coco turns around. Where's that Emperor's Divide? W, Parallel Convergence doesn't add anything for Lilac. CJ able to kite this one out well. Now Coco goes in. Great Emperor's Divide locks up a lot of LZIM, and the kills start to come in. There's a double, though, for Frozen, but more members are falling on the IM side. Frozen getting very low. Shy looking for one, gets caught by that gravity field. Ambition tries to help it, but Shy still picks it up anyway. And with Apple in trouble here, when this kill comes in, it's going to be an ace, and certainly going to be at least one inhibitor for CJ.
It's not going to be more than an inhibitor, though, because they just don't have the minion wave to back it up right now. So that's it. That's the extent of the damage that is going to be done, at least for the moment, besides taking that dragon in the end. Coco, again, continues to have very aggressive engages. That was actually a beautiful Azir combo that came out and allowed for the cleanup right there. Coco probably, though, if he wants to make moves like that, maybe wants to focus on his earlier Zhonya's Hourglass so he has more survivability, because the way that he boxed everyone in that team fight was quite impressive, so that Shy and Ambition and Space could come through and grab a few kills.
He's going really deep. It's almost like he's playing this Azir more of like a utility role, setting things up for the rest of his team, than doing a lot of damage himself with the way he's going in, making a play and dying.
And if you want to do that, it's fine. It's absolutely fine, but it's much better with the Zhonya's Hourglass. If you, the Luden's Echo, for the way he's playing it, I don't feel is ideal.
Yeah. Yeah, you could certainly get a lot more damage done if you weren't going that deep and dying every single fight, even if you do set things up for your teammates.
Yeah, he doesn't. No, I think he's doing an amazing job of setting up the team fights. That is very impressive, and by kind of corralling the enemy. But if he has the Zhonyas, he can also live while doing that and still fulfill his function.
Living is nice. Going to go in onto Apple while pushing him back with that Emperor's Divide as well. After going in, bending the soldiers just a bit. Mad Life comes in, doesn't even really need to help. Shy ulting in. Wants that assist. Gotta get it. Wants to stand united with his bird soldier friend.
Now they've got everything they want. They got the kill onto the Hecarim. That means no one's going to be able to split push effectively to keep these super minions that have started to collect on the outside of the base of the bottom lane. So slow and steady here for CJ should just be fine.
Parallel Convergence, no follow-up from Lilac, and now the fight begins. Lilac getting in the back lines a little bit, but CJ just all over Frozen immediately. He goes down. Tibbers gets dropped. Doesn't get a lot of stuns, but there's a double kill already coming in for Coco. Nice taunt from Shy. Able to use that Trinity Force to just burst down Lilac. And this one is all but over at this point.
I mean, I said slow and steady. That would have been the safe way to go, but they just decide to go all in instead.
Oh,
so you got to teleport onto a super minion from Shy just to keep it alive right there, and they continue to pile on through with the Emperor's Divide.
Oh, Roar getting poked really hard by this Azir. And might not get the kill. Looks like they're happy with the Nexus. I think I would be too. And CJ takes a pretty dominating 2-0 over Incredible Miracle. Not a surprise, but for a CJ fan, good to see.
Yeah, definitely very convincing win, as many teams have been doing against IM recently. Not really the best test of a top team, and it's kind of what we expect from any of the top 6 teams in this league right now when they go against teams like Spenu or IM.
Well, if CJ would have struggled at all against Incredible Miracle, I think there would have been some pretty serious questions that would have had to been leveled against this squad, but they looked good. They looked pretty tight overall. You know, maybe trying things a little bit more aggressively than usual, but hey, against a team like IM, there's a little bit of room for experimentation. You know, we saw the Bard, we saw the aggressive engages from Coco. Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, tough times for IM continue though.
Yep.
I really liked Shy's Shen in that last match, the way that he used